Hello and welcome back to Bits and Bobs. Today's video is the history of the £2 coin. I'll go through the entire history, the present day, from the beginnings of the £2 coin, telling you all you need to know. Now, to begin the history of the £2 coin, we should probably begin the history of the pound coin. And basically, I'll run through version very quickly to get up to speed for the £2 coin. The pound sterling was a unit of account to begin with, as it was worth so much money. A pound sterling was 240 pence, silver pennies, or 20 shillings. At the time, very early times, in the sort of 900s, 1100s and so on, there were no pound coins or shilling coins. They were units of account worth too much, as a penny was about a day's wage in those times. But gradually, as inflation carried on throughout time, shillings and then pound coins were introduced as their own units. As it was now a penny was no longer a day's wage, it was more like 6 pence or 10 pence a day, going into the 1500s. And so therefore the pound coin was a viable coin for a denomination to be introduced, and the pound coin was introduced in 1489 under King Henry VII. Now, there was only a pound coin introduced, no £2 coin or higher denominations. The pound was the highest denomination, introduced as the gold sovereign in 1489. Now, fast forward to the reign of James I and Charles I, when sovereigns were discontinued along with all hammered coins, going into King Charles II, who then began issuing guineas rather than sovereigns. Now, a guinea, very similar to a sovereign, but a sovereign was worth exactly £1, which is 20 shillings, whereas a guinea, although it had a bit of variance at the start, was then finalised and fixed. It was always worth more than a pound, but it was fixed at 21 shillings, so £1 and 1 shilling, £1 and 12 pence. So that was the value of a guinea. Now, there were many different denominations of guinea. There was a quarter guinea, a third guinea, a half guinea, a double guinea, and a quintuple guinea. Now, the double guinea is perhaps the closest thing we have to our first £2 coin, as it was worth £2 and 2 shillings, so just a bit over £2, so it is not the first £2 coin. Now, in 1817, after the Napoleonic Wars, the guinea was discontinued and we returned to gold sovereigns, with the first gold sovereign, again being worth £1 sterling, 240 pence or 20 shillings. The first sovereign was issued in 1817. Now, it was not the only denomination issued for the sovereign range, but there would be more issued in 1820, so the very final year of the reign of George III. In that year, there's a proof set issued of 1820 of all the denominations, the half, the full, the double, and the quintuple sovereign. So 1820 is where the story truly begins for the £2 coin. So the £2 coin was a two sovereign or double sovereign, weighing twice the weight of a sovereign, as it was worth its weight in gold, of course £2. And just to give you a little idea of the value, £2 in 1820 was worth about £300 in today's money, so it would be worth much more than a £2 coin of today, about £300 of buying power today. And this was not issued for circulation, like I say. This is an 1820 proof set. It would then be in the reign of his son, George III's son, George IV, that the first ever £2 coin was issued for circulation. In 1823, the first double sovereign was issued for circulation. We can see it on screen now, and we have the classical as of the 1820 as well, with the classic design of St. George slaying the dragon on the reverse, and of course, for this one, George IV to the obverse. Now, these coins weighed just under 15 grams and had a diameter of 28 millimeters, so very, very similar in size to the £2 coin of today. Only 0.4 of a millimeter difference in diameter, and a bit slightly heavier as it is solid gold, but it is thinner, again, as gold is so dense. Now then, the £2 coin was not very popular in circulation, it must be said. As with today, if they introduced a £300 coin, probably wouldn't be too popular, as it's a bit too much money. The sovereign, about 150 at this time, was quite well used, well, very well used actually, as with the half sovereign, but people just preferred to have two sovereigns rather than a double sovereign, as it was just a bit too much money. And so they were never really caught on and were never very popular at the time. Now, of course, as we know, in 1914, as World War I broke out, gold was removed from circulation in England, so all half sovereigns, sovereigns, two double sovereigns, five sovereigns, all removed from circulation in 1914 to fund the war effort. So that was the end of the circulating £2 coin and the circulating pound coin, as they were temporarily, for quite a long time though, replaced with a £1 note. This was still pegged to the gold standard. £1 could still be withdrawn as gold after the war and later years. Now, it would not be, it's another pound coin or £2 coin would not be introduced until after decimalisation. They did still make £2 coins, in years after the war for proof sets. So the coronation set of King George VI, the 1937, was issued as a double sovereign from the half, full, double and 5, and similarly for Queen Elizabeth II's coronation in 1953, there was a half, full, double and 5 sovereign issued, but again as proof sets and not for circulation. Then, as we know, in 1971, Britain went decimal. The decimal system was upon us in 1971. Now, for the first 12 years, the highest denomination was the 50 pence coin. As a side note, when issued in 1969, the 50 pence piece was the highest value coin in circulation in the world, as 50 pence was worth so much back then, the pound sterling obviously a very strong currency. But then, and that was the highest coin, they were using pound notes as well for the pound, and £5 notes and such as well for the notes. Now, it was decided in 1983 to remove or to swap over from the pound note to the pound coin. So the first pound coin was the first decimal pound coin, the first one ever since gold sovereigns, was reintroduced in 1983, and the pound note scrapped in 1988. But between then, in 1986, the first ever decimal £2 coin was issued for circulation. So we have here on screen, you can see the 1986 £2 coin. Now you may recognize this coin. It's one of the older, obviously, but large style, and they're very thick, and they're all one metal, so it's all fully brass, rather than being bimetallic, as we'll get to in a moment with the new ones. These coins, this style of £2 coin was issued for 10 years into circulation between 1986 and 1996. And again, to give you a little clue, a little bit of information how much were these worth, in the 80s and up to the 90s, £2 was worth just a bit less than £10 today. So they'd be the equivalent, as it were, having one of these £2 coins then, or a £10 note today, in terms of buying power. So these coins are always good to have in your pocket, as it could buy you a good bit of things back in the 80s and 90s. But then, the same year as the 50 pence coin was downsized, as in 1997, a new style of £2 coin was introduced, a bit smaller, a bit lighter, and with more security features, having a bimetallic design, so there were two metals in the coin, which was designed to be harder to forge. And like I say, these were introduced in 1997, and I will quickly mention all of the designs of the old previous one were commemorative designs. They were all put into circulation and were the only ones available to use. So every £2 coin you'd have between 1986 and 1996 will be commemorative. But in 1997, the ones released were all definitive designs, so a standard design released over many years. And then the first commemorative £2 coin was released in 1999. Now, I have done a video on all the commemorative £2 coins. I won't list every single design now, it's just the history rather than the design. Of course, back in the history of Victoria, there have been many portraits and design changes, but this is more about the actual coin specifications rather than the design. So anyway, we have the definitive design running from 1997 to 2015, changing to Britannia, and then currently, of course, bringing right up to date. We still use the £2 coin. As you can see on screen here, this is the current circulating version of the £2 coin for King Charles III. Now, sadly, the 2023, being the first year issue for this Charles III design, did not circulate. So hopefully this year or next year, we will see some £2 coins circulate of King Charles III. None have been issued yet, but they are still a coin commonly used in circulation. Like we saw at the beginning of the video, you will all recognize the sight of finding a £2 coin in your change, commemorative or not. So there we go, the history of the £2 coin, dating back just over 200 years to 1820, and of course having good beginnings through the history of the pound, of course, with back to 1489, although there were no £2 coins issued earlier, as it was worth so much money. And of course, today a £2 coin is worth £2 in today's money. Of course, that is the face value, the nominal value of the coin, which sadly does go down due to inflation. So £2 today, of course, could not buy nowhere near as much as the stuff that a gold £2 coin could, or one of the other older £2 coin designs. Anyway, that's enough rambling about the £2 coin. Please do comment down below if you like the denomination of £2. Personally, I do like big coins. That's one of my favorite things. I do prefer like a big crown or a £5 coin. So a £2 coin is one of my favorite denominations, as it is a good bit of space there for the design to feature on the coin, whatever the design may be from whatever era. But there we go. If you've enjoyed, then please do leave a like on the video and subscribe down below. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you again soon for some more coins in the future on Bits and Bobs. Bye for now.